I think we're alive. I think we do. I think we are. I think I thunk. And now I think I shall get drunk. I don't know. So hopefully I seem to be glitching a lot on Dave's stream tonight. Seems to me he seems to think it was my connection to StreamYard. And since I do this through YouTube, hopefully we won't have such an issuette. But Superplex says, hello, T-Pawns. Superplex, was I glitching really bad on Dave's stream tonight? I couldn't tell. I know I was blinking in and out. And Pat and Barry were really, really glitchy on my end, at least to me. But if I was glitchy, I hope I'm better now. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? Am I glitching? Am I buffering? Am I Lance Chafin says, hey Thrash, hey to you, Lance. Number one dude, party at Thrash's house. It sure is. Mr. Lid says, I was lagging real bad, Dave. You were too. Yeah, that's what I thought. You were lagging as well, by the way. That's weird. Dave seemed to think it was my connection to live stream. It wasn't as bad when it was me on his show, but it seemed when there was all of us. I don't pretend to understand data, but look who's here! Daily Dan's the good stuff. Dan from South Carolina. Just get a really nice early holiday present from Mr. Dan. By the way, I'm going to do an unboxing of it tomorrow, so I should have the post up. Says, yeah, there was buffering. I am so sorry. I don't know what was going on. I get my new laptop this week. Hopefully, it wasn't going to be an issue next time. Len says, yes, Thresh, you were. Yes, you were. Zuplik says, no T-Pawns. I'm hoping he's saying I'm not buffering now. Yes, he goes on to say, we can see you okay. Awesome. Dilly Dan the good stuff says everyone looked good on Dave's show to me. That's the weird thing because Pat and Barry were buffering really, really bad to me, but apparently it looked okay to you guys. Again, I don't pretend to understand it. Maybe it has to do with people's connections or something. I don't know. But in the event, sorry if it was distracting or irritating. Trust me. I noticed I was lagging a little myself, actually, particularly with Barry and Pat. So, I'm watching like this, trying to figure out what they're saying half the time, and then and they were like kind of blinking in and out. So Dave Claroni in the house. Hi, gang. Hi to you, Dave. Tom, the Hungry Jerk. Hey, guys. Hey to you. Mr. Lid says, you are good now. I was on like a 15-second delay with Dave. Maybe StreamYard was having an issue. Because it's so weird. Sometimes I have issues on StreamYard and sometimes I don't. Tonight I had issues. But again, hopefully the new computer will solve all of that. Lance Chafin says, I wish I could get something for my birthday. By the way, Lance Chafin's birthday is coming Saturday. Everybody wish Lance a happy birthday. And happy birthday from me personally. Tug, the unapologetic geek, says, I'm here. The man, the myth, the legend. I'm so glad you're here. For those of you who haven't subscribed to the unapologetic geek, please do. He's been putting out some great material. He had to put out another one today on The Outer Limits, his anthology. He's doing mega reviews of every episode of The Outer Limits, and that's a very ambitious project. And this coming Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, he's doing a live watch through with me, and I believe Ian's joining you too, and possibly other guests as well. And we're going to be doing a watch through of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. So looking forward to it. Tug says the trials of live streaming. Yeah, but that's the weird thing is sometimes, like for example, you use StreamYard, and we had some problems the first time we were on, but not the second time. So I honestly don't know what it is, but again, the new laptop I'm getting is much more advanced than this glorified paperweight I'm using. So hopefully that irons it out. But I want to thank all you guys, Dave, Pat, and Barry. Everybody was super, super patient. Trust me, it's more frustrating to me than anyone else. but we'll work it out all eventually. Tom says Richard Correll gave Connolly and Mosher the idea for the Munsters. That is an awesome, awesome anecdote. Darrell Johnson in the house says, Bob, DJ, so good to have you. Lance Javen says, can we just go to January already? I know, I want this year to be over. Mr. Lynn says, got you birthday wishes, Lance. Oh, that's super sweet of you. Zublik says, a watch through of Pia Zadora. Pia Zadora is in Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. She plays the leader of Mars' daughter. Oh, Dilly Dens, the good stuff gives us a link to the unapologetic geek, or in this case, unapologetic dude. Oh, and while we're on the subject, two things. One, you may have not been here when I give the shout out. I got the present that Dan sent me. Dan, I absolutely love it. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of it tomorrow. And if you haven't subscribed to Daily Dan's The Good Stuff or any of his channels, they're all amazing. Please make sure you subscribe to all of them. And Darrell Johnson says, hit the like button. What he said, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. Tug says, aw, shucks. Thanks, Daily Dan. Azublik says, who is Richard Correll? Richard Correll was Beaver's friend on Leave It to Beaver. And supposedly he pitched the idea of the Monsters. Because he was a fan of Universal Monsters. John Collins is in the house. John, good to see you. Thrash, what's up, my buddy? Isn't Dave Trooper? A Trooper, I'm assuming you mean. That voice was gone and he was still doing his very best. Totally a man's man and a friend's friend. Totally a stand-up guy. He certainly is. And you could, his voice was really waning at the end. He was telling me before we started tonight, he was going to try to keep it to about an hour and a quarter. And we went for an hour 45. And considering the technical problems we had on top of that, he really is a trooper. And I think we should all give him a sound pat on the back. BK on the air. And of course, you know where I'm going. Subscribe to BK on the air for those of you who haven't, although I'm sure you all have. Hey, pal, great Retropalooza tonight. Merry Christmas to all. And again, the next time I do a Retropalooza with you guys, hopefully, the new laptop I'm getting, Dave seems to think that the problem is my connection to StreamYard. Although, as I've gone over many times so far tonight, sometimes I do fine on StreamYard, sometimes I don't. But I'm thinking the new laptop I have might stream the problems of StreamYard. Tom says he's from the Beeve. Yes, the Coral guy was Beaver's friend. Fred Smithberg in the house. Hello, ladies and James. Good to see you too. Mr. Lid said, I just did Daryl dot one like. Come on, folks. Yeah, we can do better than one like. Oh, there's like 7 now. Excellent. Lance Javen says, thank you guys for the birthday shout-outs. It means a lot. Will, you mean a lot to us. We're so glad you could make it tonight. Lance. Fred Smithberg says, to Beaky on the air, hey, great stuff about Paul Soul's voice actor trivia info on Dave's stream. Yeah, that was actually really, really slick. You were blinking in and out, but what I did get was really, really slick, and thank you. Zublik says, so long as there ain't any quizzes. No, I have no quizzes tonight. Tom says, BK, love your stuff. We all do. He just put some great stuff out there. Doug says that quiz was bull. John Doe says, hello, my man Thrash. John, hello to you. So glad you could make it. Big Guys 45's in the house. Oh, bad news. Due to an unsubstantiated glitch, me and some of my friends lost some well-earned subs. I'm probably supposed to be at 896. Now I've dropped down to 883 subs, so close to my 900 goal. Well, that's rough. Rough patches, I guess you'd say. So sorry about that, but you'll get to 900 no problem, and then to well over 1,000. I hate shenanigans like that, though. It's so discouraging. I'm still can't get over 200. I'm at 204. I've actually lost a couple. But I do apologize, man. That sucks. Wajamin says hello, everyone. You got to check out Wajamin, folks. Been doing some great stuff on well, the equivalent of dad jokes. I love his stuff on marriage humor. It's really, really great. Check it out. Even the people who aren't married will find. Let's see what else we get going on down here. A lot of people having sympathy for Big S 45s. Garrett Carpenter, I'm here now. Awesome, awesome. Never lost faith in you. Dave Clooney says, Thrash, I love the after party and the happy birthday Lance. Oh, you're welcome to both. Glad you are enjoying. Uh, Gary Carpenter says, Sir Lancelot, my birthday boy. Because 45 says one guy I knew had over 1,500. He lost like 90. Ouch. Tug says I find my subs always slow down and drop just as I get close to a milestone. It's like an algorithm knows. Ooh, not cool, not cool. John Doe says, I need to ask, yogurt? There's always room for yogurt, as the saying goes. Lance Javen says, I'm still upset I lost again. You're in good company. Big S 45 says, by the way, is profanity allowed in this chat room as long as it doesn't go too far? I always try to keep a good sense of decorum. If people do say the occasional naughty word, I'm not going to harp on them. I may not read it out loud. I might, as I read their comments, skip over it. We don't want to encourage the bots, but again, we're all adults here. And so yes, express yourself in whatever manner you are okay with. If that answers your question, John Collins says, Pat, the one lady you are interviewing appeared in E.T., did she not? And what day is that autobiography review live stream? My good sir, Pat. I don't think Pat's gotten here yet, but it's a good question. Yes, Dee Wallace was the mother in E.T. and Cujo and was a number of things. She was like the mom of the 80s. Fred Smithberg says, I'm still jealous I never sold grit newspapers as a kid. I did. It wasn't as much fun as it sounds. Just see. Denny Staten says, I have returned. Good to have you back. Yeah, David says, 45, go ahead and rant. um, let's see what else we got here. Denny Staten giving another link to Big Guys 45s. We'll try to get you back up to where you were. Big Guys, again, we're all very, very sorry for you. We're all a community here. We all care. Gary Carpenter says, no curse words from me. That's good. Zublik says, don't go blue teapots. No, I don't. I don't. Tom says, I'm at least 50. Number one dude says, express yourself sounds like a song. Thank you, number one dude. Tug says, I don't see anything questionable unless Emily's around. I know, she seems to trigger it in this, doesn't she? Fred Smithberg says, anybody ever collect bazooka bubblegum wrappers and buy anything? I bought a ring with my last name letter on it. LOL. No kidding. No kidding. Lance Chafin says, D. Wallace, the Howling. I'd forgotten she was in that. Big Guys 45. Well, a big F bomb to the people responsible for this glitch who are too damn lazy to fix it up and make it stop, lazy bones. What he said. Fred Smithberg says, I swear D. Wallace is in a Dish Network commercial now showing. Probably is. Well, Jameen says, oh, wow, thanks for pointing that out, number one dude. Gary Carpenter says, D. Wallace was on the Bionic Woman. I completely did not know that. Fred Smithberg says, where did the term going blue come from? If I remember correctly, it was from not vaudeville, but it was from the early days of like stand-up comedy and stuff like that. Nightclubs that had more racy, more body entertainment, had blue lights In the same way, there was the red light district, which was for more adult entertainment. There was the blue light district, where it wasn't obscene, but it pushed the envelopes of good taste. I believe that's how it was explained to me. If anybody can fill in the gaps there, please feel free. Emily Miller says, "Hey y'all, sorry I'm late. You are right on time. The show doesn't start until you get here, Emily. In fact, we were just talking about you, but thank for being here tonight, by the way. Your attendance is always a pleasure." John Doe says, "Much of the Wooden Soldiers back to back with Charlie Brown Christmas hard to beat the combo." I see that. I can see that. The Daily Dan blog. Well, you're here with all your phones tonight, aren't you? I'm so impressed. Love the howling. Yes, me too. Uh, John Collins says, Bob, it's so interesting because you personal live streams are smoother than a ride on TWA from 25 years ago. Thank you. Although when you make guest appearances, you're happier than a prop airplane in a tornado. I'll take that. I'll take them both as a double plus good. You're right. I love being guests, particularly when it's a smooth ride. But I love doing these live streams with you guys too. By the way, I'm hoping some new people join us tonight too. By the way, Zublix D Wallace was the bomb on ET. Certainly was. Fred Smithberg says again with the damn March of the Wooden Soldiers. LOL. Oh, Gary Carpenter says she was also on Murder She Wrote. I did not know that. Big S 45 says thanks for supporting me during these stressful little this stressful little mess up. Big guys, that's what we're here for. We're all friends here and we support each other. We are the community, as I always say. Tug says, Fred, it comes from the blue laws in the mid 1980s, in mid 1880s. Ah, okay, that actually makes more sense. Although I like mine better, but like I said, this is what happens when you pick up answers to questions on the internet. A lot of it is wrong. Tug says, why they're called blue laws, though, I have no idea. I know we had them in Massachusetts, but I have no idea why they called them blue laws. Gary Carpenter says Kmart had the blue light special. Yeah, they sure did. Let the blue light special shine light on me. Fat comic book guy is here as well, and he says, yep, which means yes, he's here on all phones. Tug says, I like Thrash's explanation, though. Yeah, me too. Sometimes an embroidered story is more interesting than the truth. Tug says, my parents always told me I was a blue light special from Kmart. That's an old joke. Big S45 says, I'll probably reach 900 subs by the end of the year if the damn sub glitch doesn't mess me up. Fingers crossed. You'll certainly get there before I do. Tom says, I remember the blue light special. Fred Smithberg says, I miss Kmart, Caldors, Zayres, and Bradley's. I miss all those. I miss all those stores. Yes, they were great. Gary Carpenter says the night they saved Christmas was an Art Carney and Jacqueline Smith. Wow, why am I not familiar with that? I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Emma Blue says they still don't sell liquor on Sundays here. They do in Massachusetts, and no one thought they would. Although Martha's Vineyard still has dry towns, believe it or not. Emma Miller says can't sell alcohol before noon on Sundays. Yeah, you can sell it here now. Tug says, if your technical issues are related to StreamYard, we'll see this Sunday, as I'm still using Zoom. Oh! Oh, you're right. We did have problems one time, though, but we did have it the second time on Zoom. But again, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's weird. When I was the only guest on Dave's stream, this is a while ago, we were talking about Planet of the Apes. It wasn't glitchy. Tonight just happened to be bad. I think I don't know. Someone said sometimes StreamYard might be having problems with my area. GR in the house. GR, how you doing? GR says also American Werewolf in London was good along with The Howling. Yeah, it makes a great double feature. I gotta tell you. Tom says I love this community. We love having you. Fred Smithberg says Venture, never heard of it. I'll Google it, Lance Chafin. Oh, very good. John Dose's Rank and Bass holiday movies are elite can't be beat. You are so, so right. Tom says buffering again. Am I buffering again, guys? Really? Legit? On YouTube? Because I almost never buffer on here. Well, if I am, let me know. And then more dude says, come on, wrenches. Oh, do we have a bot in the house? Let's see. Uh-oh, I just jumped. Oh, here we are. Daryl Johnson says blue law, also known as Sunday laws, Sunday trade laws, and Sunday closing laws, are laws restricting or banning certain activities on specified days, usually Sunday in the Western world. Excellent. That's a very definitive and concise answer, and I thank you. Emily Miller says, I know folks who had to get their driver's license at Kmart. Zublik says, you know it's really old? Woolworths and Wilco stores. Yes, they still have a few of them around somewhere. Les Javen says, dude, where are the bots? That's a very good question. Thrasher, Gary Cooper says, Thrasher, look it up on YouTube. I certainly will. I'm not sure which one I'm looking up, but I certainly will. I'm guessing the movie we were talking about a little earlier. Venture. Emily Miller says, Woolworth was a fun store. It certainly was. When I lived in PA, the blue laws were nuts. Fred Smithrick says, I don't think I ever went into a Woolworths or Wilco, possibly, but I don't think so. You would know that they were called. They had the big signs in the front. You would know if you were. Gary Carper says I got my license at 26. I was actually older than that. John Doe says I got an idea every time there's a buffering. Eat some yogurt. Lance Javen says, no, the clown that keeps hating. No one sees this. John Collins says, no, it's interesting when you're on your own live stream, you're smoother than a ride on a. Oh, I think I read this one. Yes, I certainly did. GR says Paul Lamont was also in The Night They Saved Christmas. Fred Smithberg says I miss Bonanza and Ponderosa restaurants. They used to have one in the Cape Cod Mall where my grandmother used to take me there, and my grandfather on Sundays, and they used to put old silent films on the back wall. It was so much fun there. GR says my wife loves The Night They Saved Christmas. That's the one I'm going to look up. Okay, very good. I think I'm caught up, but I'm just going to scroll down really quickly. Zublik says 5 and dime stores. Yeah, originally they were called the 5, or one or the other. They were the Woolworth, Wilco, or the 5 and dime. Emily says I got mine at 19, but only because I had kids. Tom the Hungry Jerk says Gary got mine at 20. Zublik says please no yogurt. Emily says we have Go-Gurt in the fridge now. John Doe says Spaceballs had yogurt. Yeah, it certainly did. Dave Colorni says message retracted. A message retracted to you too. Mr. Lynn says you are buffering slightly, Thrash. Maybe there's some kind of electrical storm in my area. That happened. That actually happened once before. There was a really bad storm in my area, and it just destroyed my connection. But anyway, for all of you who showed up, thank you. Someone's blowing up my phone, so let me just. This might be important. It's never mind. It's nothing earth shattering, but I wanted to make sure my mother's car wasn't broken down somewhere. Let's just see. What do you mean? Says J.L. Perry was a store I remember in Indiana. I remember Indiana. I don't remember that store, but I'll take your word for it. Big Guys 45 says I'll be back later. Fred Smithberg says I remember going to a laser light show at a Big E Eastern States Exposition. That was the blank back then. Ziplik says now nothing costs 5s or dimes. Too true. Dave Clooney says, Bud Ends and Ground Round were great restaurants. I like the Ground Round too. Yes, definitely. Dennis Jaden says, I have 7 kids, 16 grandchildren, 3 great grandchildren. To me, shopping is a nightmare before Christmas. I can certainly see. Wow. Music Girl 67 is in the house. Hey, Music Girl. Hello and good evening, all. Hoping that everyone's Thursday went well and a happy holidays, everybody. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We're doing an after party. That's why I'm a little late. Gary Carpenter says it's been raining here on and off today. Phew. Bless me. Yeah, it was raining here earlier. Nothing electrical, but John Collins says, "Please read my statement again, Bob. I fixed the typo. I thought I um fixed it manually when I read it. Okay, when I see it again, I'll read it again. But I'm sure we'll get the gist of it." John Doe says he used to shout out on Crunch and Munch when it was good in the 80s. Lance Javen says, I don't want a birthday this year. Well, we've already wished you one, so you're stuck with one. Ziplik says, T-Pons, has your mom ever returned to live streaming? She watches me on the live stream, but she never actually comments. She might be watching me now and not commenting, so meh. Gary Carpenter says, LC, you were hatched, LOL. Tug says, you are depressed, Linz. Virtual hugs, man. Yeah, Linz, if you're having a tough day, man, yeah, virtual hugs from all of us, by the way. Don't worry. You got this. We got your back as much as we can virtually. But, don't worry. You got this. Music Girl 67 saying hello to everybody. Superlick says, why, Lance? Yeah, I was going to say, well, why don't you want a birthday this year? We've already wished you a happy one, so that should at least help. Jira says we had Wins 5 and Dime stores in Texas a long time ago. Anyone remember JJ Newberry 5 and Dime? I remember JJ Newberry's. They had one in North Adams. Was that a 5 and Dime as well? Tug says good insight, Thrash. Dankeschön, mein Herr. Fred Smithberg says, did anybody ever like Good and Plenty? Once upon a time, there was an engineer. Choo Choo Charlie was his name, I hear. Yes, although I preferred Good and Fruity. I was never into licorice. You guys must have heard this story. My grandfather was a licorice fanatic. In fact, when we went up to visit him, my father, we'd stop at this like one of those old school candy stores because he liked the old style black licorice that was like inner tube of a tire. That kind of stuff, and he would be like, "Hey, Robbie, give me some candy with Daddy Gramps." And I'm like, "Oh, that's okay. No, you can have some." And it was like, "No," he'd want to share it with me. But so yeah, I was never really a licorice man. I was more of a Good and Fruity man. Lance Javen says, "Thanks, guys." Well, no, thank you. I'll just see. Fred Smithbrick says, "Pop Rocks and Coke killed Mikey." I remember that urban legend back when I was a kid. It's great. Oh, number one dude says Red Vines. Yeah, Red Vines were better, but they still had that waxy sort of taste to them. Mr. Led says, "Girl 67, you missed a live stream before this. Are you subscribed to Dave?" I believe she was, but Music Girl 67 says, thanks for being a bit late tonight, Thrash. Unfortunately, I missed Dave's live tonight and will watch the replay while preparing Din Din. Yeah, apparently I was really glitchy tonight, by the way. There was some problem with StreamYard, which we've talked about at some length tonight. But hopefully that won't be a problem next time. Emma Miller says, my dad liked licorice. That can't be normal. Tug says, I love licorice. Even the rubbery stuff sounds good to me. To own their each. Superlick says, don't mix Diet Coke and Mentos. You're not my supervisor. Lance Javen says, Tug, Twizzlers. Ah, yes, Twizzlers. I do remember those. Mr. Lynn says, I used to bite off the candy coating and spit out the licorice. I used to do that too. I thought I was the only kid who did that. Gary Carpenter says, I love Laffy Taffy and Starburst. Me too. Tom says, my mom used to take me to the National Guard. All the guys laughed at me. Oh, you must have been little. Tug says, I would bite the ends off the Twizzlers and use them as straws to my soda at the movies. I've heard people doing that. Big Girl says, yes, Mr. Led, yes, I subbed to Dave and even a Patreon supporter of his. Fred Smithrick says, how the heck did the Pop Rocks and Coke killed Mickey become such a nationwide rumor without the internet? LOL. TV, magazines, that type of thing. A lot of talk shows were saying it. Lance Chavin says, "Dude, a little down today. It was the day for it. Don't beat yourself up too much." Mr. Led says, "I used to eat so much Skittles I had to go to therapy for my jaw." True story. Really? No kidding. I thought that sounded like a joke at first. Zerblick says, "Does anybody remember the Reggie bar?" Oh yes, I remember the Reggie bar, and they had different Reggies on the commercials. Yes, I do remember that. Tug says we didn't need the internet for things to go viral. Yeah, that's for sure. We had our other tactics. Gary Carpenter says Z. Yeah, but I don't like chocolate. Really? John Doe says whatchamacallit, or however you spell it, is top notch. Yes, it certainly was. Certainly was. Oh, Denny Staten says retro serial C T-Pon's co-host sub. Now, thank you for that. You are the guru of um links. You are Lancelot links. Lancelot links. Number two says Zuplex liked him in Naked Gun. Yeah, Reggie Jackson was in that. Fred Smithrick says I remember Jawbreakers and the candy vending machines. I remember those. Tug says whatchamacallit is still around. I thought so. I thought I'd seen it recently, but not everywhere, just from here and there. Music Girl 67 says, "It's your birthday, Lance. Well, happy birthday to you, buddy. Hoping your day is full of sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, laughter, and love," and gives many emojis. It's actually this Saturday, but we're wishing him a happy birthday now because we have him now. John Collins has given me a reboot with the typo fixed, so I will now read it. It's interesting when you are on your own live stream. They are smoother than a ride on a TWA 25 years ago. However, when you make guest appearances, you're more choppy than a one engine plane in a tornado. Oh, I'm also happy to do them. That's why I thought you said happier. But not always. I mean, like I say, the one I did on when it was just Dave and I, and we were doing Planet of the Apes. I wasn't choppy there at all. At least I recall I was. But like I say, um, not to repeat myself, hopefully the new laptop will take care of that. I'll just see where I'm going. Johnny State says, "Behold the Link Master." Jamie Mean says December 19th. I mean, it's your birthday. Tom Hugdrick says, "I was 18." Now I thought you made it sound like your mom brought you to the garden when you were a little baby. You were 18. Sorry, Tom. I'm sorry to mean to laugh. I was totally misinterpreting the situation. Oh yeah, Danny. He's also giving some links to his other channels, by the way, for those of you who haven't subscribed to all of them. Sorry. Let's see. Lublick says, "Yes, T-Pons was your machine an E-machine." I don't know. Music Girl 67 says, happy birthday in advance to you, Ash. If Thrash does a live stream next week, which I'm certain I will, and you were there, I'll remember to wish you a wonderful birthday once again, friend." Excellent. Tom Carpenter says, I'm sorry, John Carpenter says, "Tom, I wished I was 18 again." George Burns. Oh, I certainly remember that movie. That was ages ago, but yeah, I remember it. John Doe says there was a Peanut Chews, Charlton Chews, but there was a third one. I forgot what it was, but I remember there was three of them. I don't recall that one. I do remember the Charleston Chew. Chocolate Chew? I'm not sure. Emily Miller says, Tom, it's no big deal. I did it years ago. Not sure what we're talking about, but okay. Uh, Number one dude says, stuck sneeze. I hate those. Yeah, just when it came on out of the blue. Um, Fred Smithberg says, Big League Chew. Jameen says, thank you, music. Mr. Lynn says, I wish that to Tom, but not in today's world, back in the time of my youth. Doug says, I've just found some holiday themed junior mints that have peppermint candy crumbs inside. Ooh, that sounds slick. Zublik says, e-machines made computers when. Oh, K-Pro was still around. So you're making fun of my computer. It's not that old. It's not that old. But I think it has something to do with StreamYard. I do. And I might have to try to remedy that. John Collins says, has Ian posted the episode with Gen X Talks yet? Yes, he did. I saw it just the other day. Fred Smithberg says those little wax bottles with the liquid stuff inside. What we were supposed to do with the wax? Eat it? No, you'd throw it away. Gary Carpenter says Diaz. He was my ultimate favorite. Mr. Lynn says the worst sneeze is when you are driving. I commuted for 2 years, and I used to live in fear when I was a kid. This is one of the reasons why I learned to drive late in life. Actually, there was a commercial where it's about tailgating, where a woman was tailgating the person in front of her, and she sneezed. And when she sneezed, she stopped concentrating and hit the other car. And when I had to commute years later, I was so terrified that I would hit another car. I used to drive. I'd have like a tissue in one hand. So if I had to sneeze, I could stifle the sneeze right then and there um, while driving on an interstate. So, yeah, sneeze driving is the worst, particularly if you go into a sneezing fit. Uh, Ellen Mo says, Fred, throw them away. Tug says, Fred, those have always confused me. Gary Gabbard says, Fred, yes, you were, but I didn't like the wax. Zublik says, does anybody remember K-Pro? I'm extrapolating. It's a very old computer company. Music Girl 67 says, when I came into the chat tonight, I heard Poe that Thrash hasn't seen The Night They Saved Christmas, right? If so, you can find it on my Classic Christmas. Oh, you jumped. Classic Christmas movies and TV shows playlist on my channel. Oh, good. Thank you. Oh, channel. She's finished building it. Good. Good to know. Tug says, I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. The sneeze was so tasty. Sorry. It rolled rolled off the table and onto the floor. Lance Javen says, guys, I'm out not feeling tonight. Sorry, gang. Thanks for TGE birthday wishes. Hey, Tug, no, we understand. If you need to call it tonight, I'm probably gonna wrap things up in a little bit myself, actually. I wanted to do. I think we just do this for like an hour after Dave's, but no, if you need to call it a night, take care of yourself. Be good, be safe, be careful, and I'll see you really soon. Okay, take care. Jumbo says, at least you left your meatball. At least it wasn't yogurt. Dennis Gaines says, and onto the floor. A lot of people saying goodnight to Lance. Yes, Lance, please take care of yourself. Fred Smithbrick says, Holy Crow, that just fired a new neuron from way back. Tug, yes, all covered with cheese. Yes. From funny favorites or forgotten favorites, yes. John Collins says, does anybody remember in elementary school when we weren't so coddled, they allowed us to use cement glue no matter how wonderfully we enjoyed the buzz of the glue in our little impressionable bodies. I remember cement glue. I don't remember huffing it, but Zublik says, "Oh man, I feel so old now. No one remembers obscure computers or K-Pro. Sorry." Uh, let's just see. Music Girl says, sorry to hear you're not feeling well, Lance. Enjoy the evening. Please take care, buddy." Yeah. Fred Smithberg says, "Got up in the morning, put my feet on the floor, did the 50-yard dash to the bathroom door." How dry I am, how wet I'll be if I don't find the bathroom key. I'm sorry, I'm back at summer camp all of a sudden. Lance Chafin asks, "Is Emily mad at me?" I certainly don't think so, Lance. I don't think any of us are, but no, Emily doesn't seem like she's mad at anybody tonight. Um, I could make her mad at me if that would make you feel better. uh, Emily says specifically, Emily rarely gets mad at anyone, Lance. So you can take that to the bank. And Emily, something tells me that if you are mad at somebody, they would definitely know it. Something tells me that you get your feelings across when you need to. Tug says we had a ton of rubber cement when I worked on the newspaper and uh, literature magazine in high school. I can imagine. Uh, oh, Lance Chipman says, "Guys, I'm feeling dark right now." No, 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 Lance. Don't feel dark right now. You got all these friends here, right, man? Do not feel dark. Whatever it is, don't feel dark right now. Um, whatever it is, we're here for you, and don't ever forget that. So please, just whatever it is, know you have people that are here for you, and that you don't need to feel bad. Fred Smithberg says, "Anyone ever here eat paste?" I'm sure I did. John Doe says, "Hello, Mata. Hello, Fada." Here I am at Camp Granada. Tom says, "I did Fred in the second grade." Zublik says, "We're here for you, Lance." Yeah, like I say, Lance, you have friends with you. You have friends here. And what Jimmy supports this. We are here for Lance. Yes. John says, "To be clear, at that age, I didn't know enough to do anything untorrid with the glue. I just enjoyed the fumes and definitely don't do anything wacky today or ever. I'm already very uncoordinated as it is." It sounds like a Josh Blue bit. Speaking of blue lights, Emily says, "You should know Thresh since you've seen my Facebook post." Yes. So there are a few people I'm sure you are angry at this day and age. Tug says your Facebook post cracked me up on the regular M. Yes, but you're always very, very nice about it. You're clear. You're very clear, but you're very nice. Miss Liz says, "Come on, Lance, buddy. The sun will come up tomorrow." Dave Thornley says, "What do you need, Lance?" That's a good question. Is there anything we could do to kind of, you know, make you feel better? Tug says, "Hello, mother. Hello, father. I haven't smoking marijuana. Coke is good, but crack is better. I'm so messed up. I can barely write this letter." Lance Chapin says, "Dave, I don't know." Well, again, whatever it is, just keep thinking about it, and we'll try to do something to make you feel better. Emily Miller says, "Tug, where did you find my diary?" Let's see. Sublik says, "There's a copyright suit along the way." Apologetic. Fred Smithwick says, "Lance Chafin, sometimes nostalgia helps, sometimes not. 80s metal music sometimes gets my anger out." you know, I could sing Metallica 1 if it would make you feel better. I doubt it would. John Doe says, "Lance, I suffer from major depression disorder and seeking help. I tried to keep in mind it can't rain all the time. John, that was a very nice sentiment. Thank you. JR says the girls used to put the glue in the trough of the wooden ruler and make fingernail extensions way back in elementary school during the 60s. Wow. That's a very innovative thing to do. I never thought of that. Gary Carpenter says, LC, what's your favorite movie or song? Can't hurt. Tug says, nah, total fair use. Len says, thank you, John. Yes, John, that was actually a very nice comment. John Collins says, Bob, thank you for liking my last Facebook post about the state of civics in our country. You're very welcome. Are you guys on Facebook? I recently joined and pretty much just to promote this channel, I must confess. But a lot of our very good friends are on Facebook. Lance is always on. I always get a nice hey Bob, how's it going from Lance? Daryl's always on. Um, Emily, I think she's on now while she's like talking to us. Um, uh, but again, some of our very good friends, John Collins is on. Some of our very very good friends are on Facebook. So it might actually help a more in real time connection if you folks want to. Oh, I'm glitching again, aren't I? If you folks ever want to reach out to somebody, oftentimes they're there. Emily says I've been using saffron gummies with vitamin D for my seasonal depression. I would still recommend a prescription if you have one. Tug says I'm sure I'm not the only one here. He used to peel dried Elmer's glue off my hand to gross out the girls in elementary school. No, you pretend it was a blister. Yeah, I used to do that too. John Doe says no problem. Let's just remember you really aren't alone. He's right. He's right. You're really not alone. Gary Gabbard says when I'm done, I watch a movie or listen to a favorite music. Can't hurt. Can't hurt. Lance Javen says, okay, gang, thank you for being there for me. Well, again, we're a community. We are here for each other. So I hope one of us said something that made you feel better. And take care of yourself, Lance. Seriously. Let's just see. Mr. Lynn says we used to sniff the mimeograph ink back in the day. I had an old joke. I used to sniff glue, but my nose got stuck together. Fred Smithwick says I hate Facebook because I hate people. LOL. I'm about as social as an angry dung beetle. You're always very social here. What's the diff? Other than you can see posts of other people in real time. Liz says I still do tug. John Bernstein in the house says, "Hey, dude, John, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you could make it tonight." John Bernstein, as you know, one of Dave's regulars, recently started checking out some of my earlier posts. Have you subscribed yet, John? If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you have, thank you. But he's a huge, much like I am, a huge buff of sci-fi. Only he has way more knowledge than I do. He could be a professor. I'm just sort of a buff or an avid fan. He's like on top of this. But John, I'm so glad you could join us tonight. By the way, we're probably about to wrap up. This is just like a little hour-long after party. Don't even really have a topic tonight other than just having fellowship of the rings. But I'm so glad you joined. Suplex says yes. Tug, you're the only one. Watch I mean says I watch comedians when I'm down. It's amazing how many comedians are actually very depressed people in real life. I believe comedy comes from pain, and when you talk to many comedians, they actually suffer greatly from depression, which is funny because they always look like they're so up, and sadly they're not. I'm a little behind here, so I'm gonna try to catch up. Oh, John Bernstein says yes. I'm a subscriber. Thank you, John. I thought you had. In my mind, I thought you had, but I just wanted to make sure because I tell everybody to subscribe and like and all that sort of rot. Uh, John Collins, it looks like he's checking out. Says, "Have a good night, Bob, and everyone. You as well." Let's just see. Hope you have a good night. Tom says, "I do Mastodon. I've got a big tusk. I think I missed something." But yes. Zublik says, "I have too much of a dirty mind to be a saint, Fred." John Bernstein says, "Have you read all of Tolkien?" I have not read all of Tolkien, by the way. I read The Hobbit, and I read Lord of the Rings, and I didn't even read all. I didn't even read all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But I have read. I love The Hobbit. The Hobbit was my favorite, by the way. Um, I had a tough when I was a kid. I had a tough time doing whole like series of books. That's why the West of Eden series was such a coup for me, because it's the first time I ever read the complete series of books. Gary Carpenter says, "If I'm really bored, I go to my cartoons." That's a good one. Tom says, "Rats, the movie." Okay. There's a Italian post-apocalyptic film, I believe, called Rats, which I have some in my collection. I've been tearing my catalog apart piece by piece looking for it. Tug says, "I have a musician friend who gave me some brownies once. I lost time. Those were not for amateurs." Because of the chocolate, of course. Oh, Emma says Mastodon is a social media site. Thank you. I knew I was missing something. John Bernstein says, "I've read them all. Something told me that you would have." And that's why I wasn't going to lie to you, because it's like, okay, smartass, if you've read them all, what, you know. Um, uh, Gary Cameron says, "I didn't read the Tolkien books. I saw the movies. A lot of people did that." This girl says, "Lance, I'm under my name, Elizabeth Reed. I left a care emoji on your comment when you joined Pat's Facebook and earlier today and left a comment there too." Oh, that's so nice of you. Number one dude says, "I've heard of reading." uh, well, let's just see. Fred Smithwick says, "I just can't read novels. I wish I could, but I have the attention span of a moon subatomic particle." um, Tug says, "I started the Similarians, but wow, it's boring, almost worse than Moby Dick." Ooh, let's not say things we can't take back. Jared says, "Talking about rats, did you ever see Willard and the sequel Ben?" Are you talking about the originals from the early 70s? Yes. I didn't see the remake of Willard, but I saw the original one with Ernest Borgnine. Yes. Let's see what's going on here. Your camera says, "GR, I don't like rats, Ben or Willard. Not much of a rat enthusiast." Mr. Lynn says, "Parched." Yes, I was. Look who just got here. Gonzo on the air. Gonzo out there. Alex and Gonzo on the air for some reason. I think I confused with Barry, but Gonzo out there as if like I've Gonzo out there. It says, "Hi Thresh, just stopping by to sweep up and take out the trash." Left a like. Leave a sandwich out for me when you go. Certainly will. Check out Gonzo on the air by the out. Gonzo out there. By the way, he's been put on some great mini comic shorts. By the way, just great. He's got one on Christmas, which is hysterical. You got to check it out. Uh, John Burton says, "I love Ben and the Michael Jackson song." Do you know why Michael Jackson wrote the theme song to Ben, by the way? Such a sad story. The story goes that when he was young, now of course the dad took all the disposable income and even some of the non-disposable income the family had was funneling it into the homespun music industry because he wanted his kids to form the boy band. So they could never afford to have pets. Michael found a rat in the house and decided to adopt it as his pet and even started feeding it. And the story goes the father found the rat one day and killed it. And this so thoroughly traumatized him that later, when they were doing the sequel to Willard, because Ben was the sequel to Willard, Michael Jackson specifically asked if he could do a song for it as a commemoration to the rat he lost. Now, that might be a complete and total bag of dingo's kidneys, but it's a great story either way. So, you know what? I'm going to stand by it. Sometimes fiction is stranger than truth. And where I was so busy going pontificating that I lost my spot here. So I and holy cow, I can't go. Oh, now I can. Uh, well, I think way too far back there. Anyway, I'll try to catch up to where I was before I. You see, I couldn't go back, so when I finally was able to go back, it like sprung me way back. Um, here we are, and oh, Zublik says, I read Michael Jackson didn't write Ben. He wasn't that talented. Perhaps he didn't write it, but he wanted to sing it as a commemoration to the rat he lost. Um, again, the story is probably a crock, to be honest with you. so, it may not pontificating is. So it may not be a true story. I've always liked that story. John Bernstein said he wrote it. It's sad and heartfelt. Okay, so maybe the story isn't a crock. Maybe the story I just told, as if it was gospel, is in fact gospel. Oh, Big Eyes 45 is back. Well, Big Eyes, I gotta tell you, you are back just in time to say goodnight. Because, like I said, we're hitting the hour mark. My throat's now starting to go, and I think we need to call this one an evening. You guys forget, I'm East Coast time. It's 11:15 where I am, so it's actually pretty late. And I got to take the granddaughter to school tomorrow. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up here. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I want to thank you for all your patience tonight, by the way, with all the technical difficulties. Thank you for joining me here tonight for the extra after party. It was a blast. And I want everyone to be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.